love, you're listening to the Died on Ashanta podcast. I'm a resilience strategist and migrant integration specialist who has spent the last 20 years traveling, working, and studying throughout the Caribbean, North America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. As a globetrotter, I quickly learned how to bounce back from crisis and how to thrive in new and strange places. I've used my training and experience to develop a resilience-based framework, and now I help others to get over the hurdles that come with living in a foreign country. Now on this podcast, I invite you to join me on this journey of living with simplicity, joy, and resiliency. From green smoothies to goal setting, we'll cover it all. We'll talk about all the things that help us to thrive through the storm. Welcome to the Died on Ashanta podcast. This is episode 17, and today we are talking about physical resilience. Specifically, we're talking about deep breathing. Now, before I get into this, I want to make sure you understand what I mean by deep breathing. Now, some people will call it breath work. Some people will call it breathing exercises. But when we're talking about building and maintaining physical resilience, one of the ways that stress and anxiety that come with challenges, adversity, new situations and places is that our bodies become tense. They become flooded with cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and it impacts our ability to breathe. And when you're not breathing properly, you become drained, physically exhausted. Your brain becomes foggy because you are not getting enough oxygen to your brain. You will become disoriented because there is not enough blood oxygen going to your blood. It affects you in many ways. And if you want to probably get some realistic or real life, probably easy to relate to examples of how shallow breathing or racing breath can affect you physically, think about when you have been scared. Someone has shocked you, surprised you, and you immediately grab your chest and you gasp for air. That's a natural response when you are scared. Think about when something is happening that fills you with terror and panic, and you start to hyperventilate. You are in like intense panic. You think everything is gonna fall apart, and you suddenly can't breathe. You start heaving and holding your chest, and it hurts to breathe. That's your body responding to stress, and it impacts your ability to breathe. If we were ever to flip back to a book I've recommended before by Dr. Gabor Mate, which talks about when the body says no, he has an entire section where he looks at how asthma is rooted in unresolved stress. Over an extended period, people build up asthma as a result of unresolved, unaddressed stress. And so there are so many different cases where we can see a direct link between intensely stressful situations, events, experiences, strong, unpleasant emotions, and our breath. And so this is something that anyone who is involved with stress management, whether they're running a workshop or you're in counseling or even going to a well-informed doctor, they would guide you through some breathing exercises, deep breathing exercises, to ensure that you are oxygenating your blood, there's enough oxygen flowing to your brain and energizing your body, boosting your immune system, and making sure that you are in top shape to handle all the different hurdles that face you on your journey. Now, if you've never been through stress management workshop where they are often demonstrating different breathing exercises. You could easily hop onto YouTube or any other video platform and look for breathing exercises, deep breathing, breath work, and you could find some demo videos that would walk you through almost like a tutorial how to do breath work. Now, a lot of it is based on counting like seconds, how long you should inhale for, how long you should hold your breath for, how long you should exhale for. And just off the top of my head, two that I'm familiar with is where you inhale for 4 counts or 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds. So that's 4, 4, 4. There's another one that goes a little bit longer. You inhale for 4 seconds, then you hold it for 7 seconds, and exhale even slower for 8 seconds. So that's 4, 7, 8. So any of those or even others that you may come across in your search and practice would work. But the most important thing is that you consider making a daily practice. And if you find yourself in very hectic periods of your life where things are really intense and you feel anxious and overwhelmed a lot, you may want to do it like you would take medication or food 3 times a day. And if you're trying to wonder, how do I, add this new habit of deep breathing to my routine every day, especially when things are hectic, you could always look into setting an alarm or a kind of reminder on your phone where it goes off to remind you it's time to breathe. You could put a wallpaper on the screen of your phone or the desktop of your computer that says, remember to breathe, or remember to exhale. Everyone remembers that movie, Waiting to Exhale? It speaks to the importance of breath and how when we are in challenging situations, we often forget to breathe, or we're afraid to breathe and to exhale. Another thing that comes to mind when I think about how stress impacts our ability to breathe is like, consider when you are having an argument and things are getting very intense, and the more you argue back and forth with the other individuals, the more your breathing becomes erratic or heavy or labored, and you start as a child I would hear say, stop huffing and puffing. You start to huff and puff as you become more agitated. That is a sign of how stressful situations can impact your ability to breathe. And sometimes you think of, oh, you had a bad dream and you wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, and what do you notice? You are breathing heavily because your heart is racing and you are maybe terrified about whatever you saw in that dream. And there it is, another moment when your body is showing you proof that stress and crisis can impact your breathing. How about when you get on a roller coaster and the ride is a little bit more intense than you would have imagined? And whether while you are on the roller coaster or after you get off, you are out of breath, your chest is tight, and even sometimes up to 2, 3, 5 minutes after you have gotten off that ride, you're still blowing, as we would say back home, you're blowing short. You're short of breath and you're trying to catch your breath, and you probably have to sit down for a while until you can calm down. And not until your mind calms down to realize that the threat is gone can you start to breathe normally again. So we have to consider that whether it is a stressful event, stressful circumstances that may be ongoing, or strong emotions that are triggered by thought patterns, by behaviors, by whatever it is, that this can impact your breathing. And so for you to cultivate your inner strength, your resilience, a simple habit that I would encourage is to practice deep breathing. So whether you're going to look up a video on YouTube, attend a stress management workshop, or grab a meditation app. There are lots of free meditation apps that you can use to help you with developing a deep breathing practice and to get into the habit of doing these. You could try the Calm app or the Insight Timer app. Any of these would work. If you want to just try it on your own without an app, simply use your fingers to count down so you know how many seconds you have inhaled for, held your breath for, or exhaled for. I find it very cool to play nature sounds in the background to help with calming your mind. You could play affirmations in the background, or if you find some soothing background music that really works well for calming your nervous system, for settling your thoughts and allowing your body to come back to a normal, deep, calm breath. So I really hope you will try this. If you do, or if you have been practicing deep breathing, let me know. How have you found it? Have you found it to be effective for calming you down? What are the different methods you have tried, the different breathing exercises you have tried? Please respond and let me know. Of course, I have to share a proverb with you, and this week's proverb comes from the Bemba people. So this Bemba proverb says, "A bow that is stretched to the limit breaks." A bow that is stretched to the limit breaks. And what this is just reminding you is that if you are encountering a lot of challenges, whether it is you've started a new program at school, or you're doing a very difficult course, or you have started a new job and the other co-workers are not being very helpful with getting you onboarded and settled in, or you've just landed in a new location, you're trying to figure out how to get your home set up, or set up accounts, or get a phone, or whatever the case might be. Whatever the stressful situation is, if you don't find useful practices like deep breathing to help you regulate your emotions, your thoughts, and your body, then one day something is going to break, and you don't want that to be your mind or your body. So put in the effort and get some deep breaths going. Maybe you could try it even now. If you're looking for a resource, a book that you could use to tell you a little bit more about how deep breathing impacts you and reduces your stress levels, I highly recommend 101 Ways to Be Less Stressed. Simple self-care strategies to boost your mind, body, and mental health. And it's by Dr. Caroline Leaf. And you may want to find that the number 12 on the list of 100, number 12 says practice deep breathing. And she goes in and breaks down how whether you're feeling depressed, anxious, worried, fearful, or panicked, a deep breathing practice will definitely help reduce cortisol levels in your brain and body, and help your cognition to start flowing and help you to decompress. So try that. It's a cool book. It has a whole lot of other 100 more things you could use to manage your stress. So that's it for today. I hope you will try to take more deep breaths. So from me to you, have a deep breath. Until next time, bye. Thanks so much for listening, love. If you enjoyed this episode, head over to didanashanta.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's message. Be sure to drop your email address so I can send you some helpful resources, updates, and the occasional music video that I may have on repeat. Make sure you subscribe and spread the love with someone you care about.